So now we can show you the basic process, how we can work on 3D. Okay. So should I go for very technical or? Okay, I know there's salespeople here. Should I just start the basic training from? Okay, sure. So the first thing usually I would always recommend is the file organization. Okay, because the thing when you have a pattern, you probably have this, right? And then the thing to our 3D is work on the cut line. I mean the sew line. I'm sorry. Basically, 0, 0 pattern. The seam allowance is taken out. Okay. Because the true measurement is on the sew line. Right? So, but for 3D, we always ask you to save as, because once you get the pattern file, you want to save as. Otherwise, usually people, I sometimes even make mistakes like that. Like I open the file and then I change a lot and click save, and it overwrites it, right? And then later on, your pattern maker might be mad because later we need to change the notches too. Okay. So we want to make sure we have a copy of that file. It's exactly the same pattern piece, but we want to be able to manipulate. We want to do whatever we want for 3D. Okay, so save as, do a save as. Okay. We also have we recommend have a file template. Okay, so you can go here. I already created some. In the folder, right? Usually we recommend you want to create a 2D folder, a 3D folder. A 2D folder, usually we just save the original pattern there. Just in case sometimes like we work on the 3D pattern and be like, oh, I'm not too sure. I cut this piece or maybe I did that. And then you can have the original pattern file just open to compare. Did I destroy the pattern piece or no, right? So you save here with the original pattern piece. Okay. And then usually we want to save in the 3D folder. I usually put the 3D in the file name. Okay. So here I already saved one. Okay. So total usually is a 5. I would put image or you can put rendering. So here would be save a lot of videos or picture you render. And you want to create another folder called D. Okay. So usually it's 5 folders. Okay. The rest is just specs. You put like some TechPad or measurements or graphic, something like the fiber swatches stuff in there. Because later we will learn, because when we work on 3D, it will generate a lot of files in that with the pattern file we work with. That's why we want to make sure all the files are organized. Okay. And then the D is for the designer edition. I don't want to go for 2D. That's a separate little app. Basically, it's not full 3D software, but you can use that as a visualizer. Also work on the Photoshop, but it doesn't have motion. You cannot sew the garment, but you can bring the 3D operator can sew the garment and bring the 3D garment in the designer edition. That might be another solution for you, but we're gonna go over that later. Okay. So here I have my 3D. Right, so now first thing I want to do is like I say, I'm gonna rotate that, right? Like the same example I showed you earlier. I will rotate kind of like vertically. So that's also, it's better. Also, we do this for a reason. Okay, so later you can see when I add the pattern pieces in 3D. Because if we spend a little bit of time, like place all the pieces next to each other, later it will help you stitch easily and quickly. So this is an easy garment. If you have a complicated ones, and then you don't want to like in 3D be like, oh, let me think which one to sew where, and then you lost and something like that. It happens if you have many pieces, right? So that's why we try to align the pieces here. The best, if you using 3D, you plan to use 3D to do the look too, right? So you also want to think about, because whenever we add this pattern in 3D, when we do the plan map, it's going to be exactly the same layout, exactly the same shape, exactly the same size. So let me show you. So this one earlier I showed you, so it's going to be exactly the same. So the better, if you, like here I use a guideline to match the shoulder or something. So if you have some plaid or like stripe, like something sizing you want to match, it's better to do this way, because in Photoshop you can easily just drop. You don't need to like adjust like the front and back, try to match it. Okay, if it's on the same level, it should be very easy to do. And also make sure to switch all the like right now, if you see something like this, right? If the working line is outside, you want to switch back to sew line. I'm just using hotkey, but you can go to the scene drop down menu. Okay, you can switch all to sew. Okay, after that you can just turn off the seam allowance. Okay, and then we want to turn all the notches to be set notches. So the best way to do it is you can go to the global set internal, right? You can choose all pieces and then notches here. Okay, then you can set angle if you want, but usually the 0 towards inside, 180 towards outside. Okay, if you work, I don't know if you, because you guys work with a lot of nets, probably you guys use V-notch maybe, I'm assuming. So V-notch usually towards outside, so you want to just set here the angle towards inside. Okay, and then switch those cut and set, or draw also works. Okay, so it will look like that. And then also the notch here, it's necessary to have a notch here because the notch, the set cut notch will divide the segment in 3D. So that means if I don't have this one, I just imagine I need to sew this 9.5 inch, this side panel to here. If you don't have this notch, it will sew all the way to the top to the shoulder. Okay, so this is how we divide the segment here. So all the notches, just double check. This one already kind of like already have the notch, everything ready. Okay, so later maybe you can bring your pattern, just any pattern we can go over after we finish the basic one. Okay. Okay, so now we just need to take a look here. Should we be 9.5, 9.7? Okay, so here should be switched. Okay. Okay, so I think we're ready to drape this one. Usually I just put the front at the left, but that's totally up to you. Okay, so the best, as long as you get comfortable with, you can put some people put the back over there, but I like to put the front and put my sleeve to the left to the front, right to the front, and then the back just at the back. Okay, after everything done, double check everything's okay, then we're gonna go to TUKA3D and add that pattern in TUKA3D. Okay, once you add the pattern in TUKA3D, one thing you'll notice, all the pattern pieces will be on the floor. It can't, now I already have a model. That's why I look at the pattern pieces just right under, like it look like a shoe standing on top of it, right? And then the first thing we'll notice is the system will ask you what kind of material. First thing, before we developing the look, we usually do fit, right? We want to make sure the pattern looks right before we even do look, right? If the pattern is too tight, too loose, or too long, then for sure we want to ask the pattern maker fix it first. And then here you want to, in order to do fit, we have to have 3 elements, right? The model, like I say, you can scan your fit model. The purpose, like again, we want to make sure that the digital sample is exactly the same as the physical one, right? So if you have your model, is just think about the 3D world. It's like we have the digital pattern, right? It's 1:1 scale. It's true scale and true size in there. And then we have the model is true scale, true size in there. And then we have, now we also need another element, which is the fabrication, right? And then some fiber we tested. So mainly the fiber property we use in 3D is the stretch. We test stretch on the weft and web, and also we test on the shearing, right, on the bias. Also the GSM, how heavy is that heavy, right? And also another one is the stiffness. Is the fiber like super soft or is it like kind of stiff? So mainly the three main elements for the fiber property in 3D is those. Like other thing like observe the water or something like a color, like some other stuff we don't consider in 3D. Okay. So here I'm just select whatever for now. Let's see. I just select Jersey. Okay. Okay, so now you can see, well, I kind of skipped one because I already load the model. Okay, so now we are ready to work on the 3D garment. So here it's when you, the process basically just from the left to the right here. So first we're in the arrange panel. Basically we're going to place all the pieces here. So I'm going to click here. The panel placement, and I can either click the piece and just click one by one. So those squares represent the placement on the body, right? So usually what I recommend you can also do is you can place like a multiple pieces if you want, if that's like easy and quicker. Let's say you have like a button up shirt, you have like a pocket or something. You can like select them together and place them together. Now I can like use my move, the other tool. Basically you can rotate or move in the 3D world. You can see once I activate the move, you can see that I have X and Y and Z direction. Okay, so I can put my cursor on the top. You can see it's highlighted, right? And you can move on one direction, right? Or you can highlight the square, so you can basically move on 2 dimensions. Okay, so right here, so I can easily place here on the side. Left click is the front. So if you want to place in a piece in the back, just right click. Okay. Well, if you guys play any video game, like 3D video games, the rotation I haven't talked about. Basically, it's very easy. So now I'm just gonna use my my mouse, the wheel, to zoom in, zoom out, right? Zoom in, zoom out. And if I want to rotate, I just holding Alt and push down my wheel. I can like freehandly rotate. Okay. You can use if you don't use Alt and use the wheel and then just like a pen tool. So those two are also here, but usually I don't use it because I basically use my mouse. That's enough. But then here's also some tools right here. The pen tool works the same thing as your mouse, the wheel. If you push down, and rotate tool. Well, if you rotate, that's the same thing when you're holding Alt, use a mouse. So, yeah, and zoom in, zoom out, it's the same. It just instead of using your wheel, you use this tool. But I just use my mouse wheel. That would be much quicker, I think. Okay, so now the rest I just placed up the. Let me see. So here I have option to rotate the piece. Okay. I think this might be a little bit. So here I'm using rotate tool, which is here. So in the move mode, we can either move or rotate. It looks like this. Well, it looks different, but if you see the rotate tool, it gives you a bow shape right here, right? It also gives you the 3 direction X and Y, so you can rotate on different direction right here. Okay, so let's say I'm finished stitching, placement. So now I'm gonna go to the stitch process. Hold on a second. Okay, about that. So the main thing we want to make sure the pattern pieces not touch each other or not touch the body. Okay, and also the stitch line not going to the body. Okay, otherwise it will cause, it will affect the drape and everything. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to, like I said, we finished the placement, right? Here we're gonna go to the right. Here is the stitch. Okay, so here you can see once I go to the stitch mode, the left side window becomes the 2D pattern shape window, like that, right? Exactly the same thing. So that's why in the beginning I say, oh, we rather spend a little bit time here in 3D. You can, because the thing, you can either click, right? You can click holding Control and click, and then you push S, which is represent stitch, to stitch. Or you can be like, I just use my selection tool, draw a selection box. I can select the multiple. Basically, you need to select two, ask them to stitch, right? And then push S. So that way, it's much quicker, and you also know, okay, this I'm gonna sew here, right? It will help you. Like I say, you don't want to get lost in 3D. Yeah. So here's the same thing. So if you like get familiar with the rotation tool, right? Right, like at the shoulder, I can easily doing the same method. I can use the selection box, select the shoulder at the same time, doing a stitch. Okay, so you have option. You can also do the same thing. You can click. You can be like, let me click this one, and then I can click onto the holding Control. So this one a little bit slow, but still works. Okay, something like this, you just need to reverse it. Okay, so that's also, there's a tool called reverse stitch. Okay, like here. Yeah, sometimes if you get comfortable in 3D, then you can work on 3D. So basically, I'm just gonna stitch them, and always, that's why on this side I also have 3D view. Usually, when I do stitch, you need to also double check to see everything's okay. Sometimes you can also, well, earlier I didn't introduce, basically we also have X-ray mode. Okay, sometimes if you have so many different pieces, some pieces is like small inside, hard to see, and then you can use this. Okay. Yeah, you can also, usually we use this X-ray mode to do like a fit analysis. We have tension and X-ray view. So you can see the garment, is it too loose somewhere or if it's too tight.
Usually the first time it's a bit, let's say if you're in pro.
Okay, I think it's almost done.
Never had this.
Yeah, I think it's done. And then you should have, after that, I would just go to, so if you finish stitching, then go to the drape mode. Okay. So now I can use, so usually we do drape without gravity first. Okay, then we add the gravity. So without gravity, we're pulling all the pieces. Okay, together. Oh, you can see I missed one. So that's something I recommend. Instead of spending so many times to check, I check individually the stitch line, right? Usually I would do just quickly drape without the gravity, because if you have something, your stitch is reversed or you miss stitch, it will show you right away. You'll be like, oh, I missed one here, so let me go back. Okay. All right. Oh, it's here. Okay. Yeah. So the thing I recommend is basically I don't expect the first time it's perfectly. I use it as a just check QC, right? Just check. And later we can use some technique like we can hide the sleeve first, right? We lock the body and then we can drape the pieces separately. Okay. But here, let me turn off the auto stop. Here you have option to turn on or turn off the auto stop. Some styles, like you have a long dress, you want to drape a little bit longer time, you can turn it off. Otherwise, the system will auto stop when the system think it's done. Since the think, oh, it's not, it should be okay, then it will be done. Okay. So now I can drape with gravity. So adding the gravity to all the pieces. Okay. Then you can take a look. Yeah, you can. We also have this like a pooling. If you not satisfy maybe some here is too much, you can also pull a little bit here, maybe here. Sometimes maybe the neckline, you be like, oh, it's a little bit off. Then you put up a little bit or something like that. Okay, so you can either do this with gravity or without gravity. It also works. Okay. After everything's okay, then you can try to do this simulation here. So the default, like I said, the default conway is the walk, and then there's another one is the turn around. So 2 animate motion and simulation. But if you guys want to add any like square, squat, or any kind of, basically, yeah, when you guys do fitting, what you usually ask them to do, we can add on the 3D model too.
Can we adjust the avatar measurement?
We try to not. Well, we have option. We have a Morphe model, but
The reason you don't want to adjust the model is because people, what they do is the garment's not fitting right, so they adjust the model, right, to make the garment look okay. And basically, when you go into production, you lose like thousands of dollars on production because it's not actually fitting properly. They just adjust the model to make the garment look right, which the garment has issues.
yeah. So yeah, our 3D like everything is about the fit, right? So we want to make sure the fit is right. So okay. So now I kind of like finish this. And also something really cool is you can also change. Let's say I can change the outfit a little bit. So here's a model option, right? I can open the model option right here, right? Then you can change. Let's say I want to put a legging on her. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So now it looks like that. Okay. So now, and then here you can see you can switch the first one right here. Right. You can maximize the view right here instead of separate windows. Okay.
Is the legging, is that a standard tool?
Yeah. Basically, a conway is different outfit. You can have option to have legging or a bra or tank top, or also there's a naked option. But you need to be over 21 to use it. No, I'm just kidding. But, yeah. Okay. Yep. And then after that, you usually what we recommend you can save the backup. Okay. So now I'm kind of like going a little bit fast because, like I said, I try to give you an overview how the system works and then what you can expect from the system. Okay.